No, you might have seen on the news this week that chocolatiers in Switzerland have discovered a way of using the whole fruit of the cocoa plant to make chocolate. This was news to me, by the way. I didn't even realise there was a fruit associated with the cocoa bean. Why did we only use the beans before? Ian Burnett is a master chocolatier.
The big flavour that everyone recognises as chocolate, that's in the beans. But about 5 years ago, chocolatiers from all over the world got together and were thinking, wait a second, the outside of the fruit, the beans, the pips, if you want, they come in, that flesh has got some amazing flavours and, can't we use that, let alone the huge amount of husk. There's about 70% basically of the pod, the cocoa pod, is just binned.
Could you take me through the anatomy of the cocoa pod then? So what is a cocoa bean?
So the cocoa bean is like the seeds, if you like, of the cocoa pod. So the cocoa pod can be various sizes, but let's say it was a small melon kind of size. On the inside, you've got your beans. It's surrounded by this fleshy pith, this very sweet pith, and kids will suck on that and spit out the bean. But that's where all the sugar is. That allows you to ferment those cocoa beans, get the flavors out, and there's all these other stages after that. But other than the pith or the flesh, if you like, there's a kind of a thick, very thick rind. And then outside that, there's a husk. So it's a large item, if you like, and the beans are just, literally 30% of that. So if you're trying to be a bit more environmentally friendly and not so wasteful, then let's use the rest, because we're adding cane sugar and sugar beet and that sort of thing to chocolate. So why not use the sugar that's in the rest of the cocoa pod is what they were thinking.
Okay, well, it seems extraordinary that we've never thought of doing this before. Presumably, was it considered that the fruit wasn't, sweet enough?
I think it was probably ease. It's just that facility. You'd basically, because these are being transported, they're all being grown around within 10 degrees of the equator. So the processing, the roasting and the conching and even the chocolatiers, most of them are actually in the northern hemisphere. So you're going to transport these. So therefore, it's probably easier. Leave all the pods behind. Just send the beans dried out. It's more for facility. However, when you're trying to be a bit more environmentally friendly and maybe even play with other flavors, why not use the rest of the fruit, I guess is what they were thinking.
Now, have you tried this chocolate that's made with the fruit sugar?
It's interesting. I guess if you imagine like a sharp pineapple flavor. So if you had a bar of dark chocolate, we're used to that flavor, but imagine your bar of dark chocolate tasted kind of like a really strong pineapple. So it's a very strong fruity flavor it gets from the rest of the pulp. So instead of using cane sugar, if you're using this the cocoa pod pulp, then you're going to get that pineapple-y, kind of very tropical flavor, quite sharp as well. So works well if you really like fruit. I mean, we do these guided chocolate tasting flights, and people love the fruit. They love the dark chocolate. If you wrapped off the dark chocolate in the fruit, some people are going to love it, and it's going to be almost like a new food in that way. So for very particular recipes, it's going to be great, but it is a strong flavor.
Oh, is it? It's not likely to replace, the chocolate surrounding our Mars bars or in a bar of dairy milk in the near future. This is for chocolate connoisseurs.
No, I don't think it's for connoisseurs. I think it's for anyone who likes really fruity chocolate. And if you're into the organic and that raw chocolate, which has a kind of a sour note, if you're going down that route already, why not try, Wholefruit dark chocolate? It's a fun one, and it's better for the environment, eventually.
Well, yeah, this is another thing. How bad is chocolate for the environment? If we're plundering these fruit and then just leaving them to rot so we can nick out the pips in the middle, that seems really wasteful.
It is, but it always depends on how it's being done. That's the same with any fruit or veg, however it's being grown. And in a lot of places, they're planting, they've planted in the past plantations up into areas that it deforests, and then, the soil gets degraded, and then they can't use it even for cocoa or anything else. That line sort of moves further and further, into the green belt. But if you do it responsibly, there's no reason why you can't grow cocoa just like anything else in a responsible manner. You don't have the wastage. So, but I would say it's a good start. It's in getting more value, frankly, in country, in those usually developing countries that are producing the cocoa. Basically, those farmers at the moment are getting paid so poorly that this adds value to something they're already producing. So that's the great news.